Alright, let's get to your house. Wait, what? To work on the manga, duh! Come on, before it's too late. Natsuki pulls me by the arm out of the classroom. Turns out we were going to keep working after all. I'm still a bit upset that she brushed off Yuri so harshly. Poor Yuri, she could totally work on writing for the manga. Before I know it, we're in my house. Okay, let's get back to work then. Actually, I'm kind of out of ideas. Then what the heck are we here for? To think! How else will we get the ideas for the manga? Besides, I can't let you sit alone and do nothing but watch anime on a tiny computer screen for the rest of the day. Like some neat. Actually, I'll have you know, I have a 4K monitor. As a matter of fact, I have 2 4K monitors, Natsuki, so it is a large computer screen. Thank you very much. What do you suggest we do then? You wouldn't be a NEET if you watched anime with more than one person, so why not start with that? Huh? Didn't know you watched anime? It'd be fair to assume, though, since reading manga and watching anime kind of go hand in hand. That's right, and I'll have you know, my taste in anime is as good as my taste in manga. In that case, I'll let you decide what we watch then. Perfect! I chose just the thing to help us draw inspiration for our manga. Is this even about our manga? After taking a few seconds to search through her backpack, Natsuki pulls out a set of Blu-ray DVDs. I take a moment and I think I recognize the cover. The Parfait Girls anime? More importantly, you brought that with you to school? Sure. In most cases, I'd recommend to read a manga, but you've already read a lot of it, so it's nice to see the subtle differences that are in the anime. Plus, it's more Parfait Girls. The anime doesn't have any filler episodes either. If that's what you want to watch, then let's do it. I'll just go set it up. The rest of the afternoon was a lot of fun. I don't think we ever actually worked on the manga at any point, but that's fine. The Parfait Girls anime was good. The Parfait Girls anime was good actually. It was interesting to see the nuances in this version, and it was something even I could appreciate. Crap, I just realized it's time for me to go now. Natsuki gets off the beanbag we sat on while watching our show and rushes to pick up all of her stuff. I wish I could stay longer, but we still have tomorrow, don't we? Yeah, I'll see you then. Natsuki waves as she walks out of my room, only for her backpack to get caught by the doorknob, causing her to trip. I'm fine! Natsuki gets up and is soon out of my house, as I'm left with a satisfied smile on my face. It would be nice if I could keep goofing off with Sayori, I almost said, with Natsuki, not having to worry about the burdens of life. It would be nice if both of us could. This alarm clock noise reminds me of the alarm clock noise from Five Nights at Freddy's 4. It may be the same like stock sound effect, but it sounds very similar to the one from Five Nights at Freddy's 4 when you reach 6 AM. I wake up to the sound of my alarm clock beeping. I forgot to disable it yesterday since there's no school right now, but it did remind me about how I was going to spend time with Natsuki today. Putting things into perspective though, this would likely be a smoother process if I hadn't forgotten to ask her when we were actually going. I pick up my phone and text Natsuki asking when she wanted to get there, and almost immediately she messages me back. How about now? This feels a little early by my standards, but I'd probably get anxious waiting anyway. I text back that saying that would be fine and proceed to try to make myself look at least slightly presentable. Jesus, I can't read. A little bit later, I hear a knock at my door. I open it up and see Natsuki standing there, looking slightly impatient but also happy to see me. So, are you ready or what? I'm guessing that you're ready, so that means I'm ready too. Alright, I'm hoping you're not too slow when helping me with this, by the way. Well, I'll try my best. I've gone grocery shopping plenty of times, it's not like there's going to be any issue, but for all I know Natsuki could be some pro grocery shopper or something, if that exists. Ah, the convenience store, where Natsuki stole food in, I believe it was Blue Skies. We arrive at a large supermarket that I don't think I've ever been to. There's large crowds scrambling around, which makes it slightly difficult to see where everything is. Come on, we've got a lot of time, but not that much time. We walk further inside and I wait on Natsuki to tell me the details of this trip. We're in KO Supermarket, a large store that should have everything we need for now. Interesting, I never heard of this place. Anything special about it? What's great about this store are the low prices on mostly everything, which makes this place the obvious pick. You should start coming here too, you know? Unless you have a bad taste in grocery stores or something. I didn't know that was possible. That it was possible to have a bad taste in places to shop for fruit, but I do now. What are we going to be buying anyway? Cupcake supplies, duh! It's important to always be stocked up on ingredients. That's fair. Where do we start? First up is flour. Follow me. It's just a few aisles away. Wouldn't it be more convenient if we split up to get more done instead? Natsuki freezes. Nah, we're fine like this. Whatever you say, Natsuki. We head over to the flour and sugar section, and Natsuki looks through the flowers. There are many of the same kind, but each are different brands. I notice that Natsuki is taking a while to pick something out. And then, I don't think the brand is going to affect the taste too much. It's not about the brand. Price is the most important thing here. You have to check the size of each bag and compare it to how much it costs versus other sizes. Stuff like 3 4-pound bags of flour being cheaper overall than a single 10-pound bag. Oh, that is me saying that. Stuff like 3 4-pound bags of flour being cheaper overall than a single 10-pound bag, you mean? Basically, it's a long process, and even though we should have enough time to do this, you have to be very careful. I see. I didn't realize you were so thorough with this kind of stuff. Well, if you can save money, then why wouldn't you, right? Natsuki does bring up a good point. I never really paid attention to those kinds of things when shopping. Well, that, and I hated doing math. A few moments later, Natsuki finally picks out a bag of flour. Here, hold this. That reminds me of ASDF movies. Here, hold this. Without giving me time to react, she throws the bag at me, and I barely catch it as she looks at her shopping list again. It would have been better for her to just put the flour in the shopping cart we took before coming in, but I guess she must have been in too much of a rush to think straight. Okay, next up are the eggs. We move over to the aisle that has all the egg cartons. As Natsuki is picking which kind to buy again, I decide to strike up a conversation. Are you making these cupcakes for an event or something? That part's not important, trust me. I don't know. If it's not important, I don't think there'd be any issue with telling me. If you're making it for someone, I can keep a secret. I'm sure you'll find out soon enough anyway. Shouldn't you be helping me right now with something? I really have no idea what I'm supposed to be helping with in the first place. I'd like to sigh, but it's not like as if I haven't gotten used to Natsuki's occasional moments of bizarre logic. I wouldn't mind doing that, but I don't know how I'm supposed to help. See what's next on the list, maybe? See what's next on the list, maybe? I think it's in the shopping cart. As Natsuki mentioned, I find the list while peering into the cart. Next up should be butter. Alright then, let's get going. Natsuki finds the perfect carton of eggs to put in the cart, and we continue our trip once more. I was wondering, Natsuki, want me to help you bake cupcakes once we're done with all of this? Natsuki looks off to the side and then back to me. Normally I would, but... yeah? I'll just say that this is a special occasion. Oh, I see. I quiet down as I wonder what's that supposed to mean. This whole thing felt a bit bizarre to me, or a bit strange to me. Was it a date or was it not? Maybe I'm misinterpreting things, but at the same time, I'd be lying if I said that I didn't like spending more time with Natsuki. Maybe one day I could ask her out on an actual date, you know? Actually call it a date and have us specifically refer to it as a date. But I don't think I'd ever have the courage to do that, so I may as well forget it for now. Our shopping trip continued until we had all the supplies we needed and headed to the self-checkout stand. I noticed that Natsuki pulls out a membership card for this place, so she must even be more of a regular than I thought. Right, how much is that for all of this? It should be... oh wow, that's a new record? New record? Yeah, I'd like to see how cheap I can get this stuff, not counting coupons of course. You know, that's cheap enough that I wouldn't mind paying for it. I have enough money on me, I think. Natsuki looks a bit nervous. You don't have to do that. Actually, if you seriously want to, then sure. Of course, I don't mind. Natsuki smiles for a moment. Thanks, but remember that you volunteered, so I'm not paying you back. Won't or can't? After we get everything together, we walk out while carrying a few grocery bags. Well, I'm certainly not an expert on shopping for food, but I have to admit this was fun. It's usually boring, but it was nice to have someone come along, so I guess I have you to thank for that. Yeah. There was an awkward silence. I had the urge to say something, but I couldn't figure out what entirely it was. Natsuki? Yeah? Nope, I can't do this. Good luck baking those cupcakes. Of course. And, Natsuki also struggled to get out whatever she was trying to say. Good luck with whatever you usually do. Thanks. What was I supposed to say here? Thanks. Thanks? That was it? You know, one day I'll confess my feelings, or maybe Natsuki will beat me to it, if she even has feelings strong enough to overcome her pride. But regardless of what happens, I'll be there for her. Thanks. I sit on my bed at home, trying to put things into perspective. It hasn't been that long since I joined the literature club, but it's still been long enough. Long enough for me to feel that I have a connection with the club members, and most importantly Natsuki. When Sayori first asked me to join the club, I didn't think it would lead to this. Sure, I've had feelings for girls in the past, but I don't think they've been as strong as they are when I'm with Natsuki. She can be difficult to get through to, yeah, but there's still a genuine kindness to her underneath all her insecurities. And hey, it's good when a girl I like shares my interest in manga. Thinking about it, it's interesting how manga has gotten us closer to each other too. Not only reading it together, but when we tried making our own manga yesterday as well. It doesn't matter that we barely got anywhere. She was clearly enjoying herself, and so was I. I don't know what has been coming over me, but I pick up my phone. Without thinking, I text a message to Natsuki. Good night. I feel incredibly embarrassed after doing so. Do friends even do that? It's not like we're in a relationship. What was I thinking? Expecting the worst. As soon as I get a response, I soon get a response from Natsuki. You too, smiley. Ah. My mind is put to ease. But then I'm wondering other things too. If I were to confess, what would I even say? When would it happen? Would something happen that would push me to say it? I barely know anything at this point. All I know is that tomorrow is a new day, and I get to enjoy spending time with Natsuki, and hopefully she enjoys spending time with me. Man, did I even get any sleep last night? It's hard for me to tell with how tired I am. Alright, I guess I'll end off the episode here. And then in the next episode we'll see what is happening in the next Natsuki interaction. Yeah, alright, so we spent the festival together. She had the biggest drama of her life when Parfait Girls got cancelled on volume 76. We tried writing our own manga immediately rather than suggesting a new manga to read. Yeah, I'm still not very happy about how rude she was to Yuri. I can understand that's... Well, maybe that is on purpose, because the MC did say, oh, she is kind of jealous. She gets jealous rather easily. So maybe that's something that we have to work on together. And then later on, as we're working on the manga, Natsuki actually is going to start inviting Yuri to help us out. Because that's something that I really liked. I've already mentioned this a bunch of times before, but that's something I really liked about the Yuri route in Blue Skies, where a large chunk of the... Well, not a large chunk, but a large chunk of Yuri's struggles to overcome was her trying to become better friends with Natsuki, because she genuinely wanted to do that, but she just had a hard time doing it. And she just needed some encouragement from others. And then she did everything else on her own, with her own struggles and stuff. I mean, most of it was off camera, but it did happen. So I think that would be quite cool if we could do that as well, but then for the Natsuki right here, where initially she brushes off Yuri quite rudely here, but then later on she actually is going to start asking Yuri for advice or something, and then eventually Yuri and Natsuki become the two head writers, so to speak, of the manga. That would be quite funny. Yeah, also she was very mean unintentionally to Monika, saying like, nothing ever happens in this club, and then Monika in the background, she's like, oh please. It's very sad, poor Monika. Yeah, it's kind of fun how everybody sort of pitched in on the manga. I mean, of course, Yuri didn't get a chance to do anything because Natsuki immediately sort of pushed her away, pretty much. But then Sayori also wanted to get involved, and Monika, well, she didn't necessarily get involved. She basically just ushered everybody to go away because it was time to leave. But I thought it was kind of funny that they all sort of were working on that. So it could be kind of fun that as a framing device in a different mod, that all of them working on a story together could be like a club activity. I think that would be quite funny. An interesting... like I said, an interesting framing device for the rest of the mod's story, you know? Doesn't matter necessarily what the mod is about, but then the framing of like events that happen in the club while the story takes place is that Monika issues a new assignment for the club, but then rather than everybody having to write a poem individually, the assignment is that everybody has to write a story together. That they all have to work together in some way. Or you could even make it different in that it has to be sequentially, for example. In the sense that, you know, maybe Natsuki writes the intro, for example. And then nobody else knows what she's writing. And then the next person in line writes the next few chapters, so to speak, you know? So they have to build off of what Natsuki wrote in the first few chapters. Then I, for example, have to go next, and then I have to continue with Natsuki's writing. And then, of course, I can interpret things like, oh, this is an interesting setup. But maybe Natsuki never intended that to be a setup, but I clock it as a setup for something, and then I pay it off in my chapters. Or it becomes a running theme and something like that. And then, you know, I give my chapters, including Natsuki's chapters, of course, to the next person, which is Yuri maybe, and then she writes the next few chapters, and then eventually they all write a story, and then, you know, they get a... I think that would be quite cool as sort of a framing device for something that the club does, and then, you know, the story of the mod evolves through it. Or just in general, all of them working together on one story like that manga. I think that would also be quite funny. Yeah, so anyway, I'm gonna end off the episode here. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Valete!